So we move forward in the atmospheric pollution. So that is, we move on to the next part of the chapter, that is global warming. So in atmospheric pollution, so we just saw was the acid rain, and now we are talking about global warming. Now we very well know what is global warming and how does it take place. It is due to the greenhouse effect. Now what is the greenhouse effect? So if you see the greenhouse effect, it is this way, that greenhouse is actually a glass house which is used in very cold countries. So in the very cold countries, you will find that they will be using the glass houses for growing the plants, because the plant requires a bit of warmth, and that warmth is available because of the glass house. Now how does it work is this way, that if this is the glass house, so this is a glass house over here. So this glass house is such that when the sun rays are going to be coming inside, they can easily penetrate through the glass. So they can easily penetrate to the penetration power of the sun rays when it is over here is very high because of the low wavelength, because the frequency is high and the wavelength is low. That's why they can easily penetrate inside the glass house. And when they enter into the glass house, so they are going to come here, and after that 80% of the heat is of the sunlight is going to be reflected back. So when it reflects back, the wavelength is not going to be the same. The wavelength over here will be such that the wavelength will be smaller and the frequency will be less. Okay, frequency will be less and the wavelength will be higher. Now because the wavelength is high and the frequency is less, so they don't have that much penetration power. That's why these rays will not be able to pass through this glass and going to retain back. It is going to reflect back, and hence whatever is the light entering inside, whatever is the heat entering inside is going to remain inside, and hence the temperature variation between outside and inside will be quite drastic. Hence the glass house will remain more warmer. This is exactly the same what you normally find when your car is being parked in the sun. So when you are parking it in the sun, you will find that बाहर कितना गर्मी होगा, but गाड़ी के अंदर और ज़्यादा गर्मी लगता है, because the heat which is entering in through the glass window panes of your car, it is allowing the air to go inside, the heat to go inside, but it is not allowing the light to pass outside, and due to which the temperature inside the car is always higher than the temperature outside. So this is called as the greenhouse effect. Now this greenhouse effect is the same thing what happens on the earth's surface. So if this is the earth's surface, this is the atmospheric layer. So this atmospheric layer के अंदर यहाँ पे है, they are the gases. Now these gases are CO2, methane, all these are CH3, CH4. So these are the gases which are called as the greenhouse gases. They are the one which are going to allow the movement of the light to enter inside, but जो भी light reflect हो रहा है यहाँ से, वो reflected light will not be able to pass through them, and they are going to reflect back, and hence what will happen is that these greenhouse gases will not allow the heat to pass outside into the atmosphere, and hence the temperature in the atmospheric area is going to, on the earth's surface, is going to keep on increasing. This is the basic fundamental principle of global warming. So global warming is basically taking place due to greenhouse effect, wherein the greenhouse का जो यहाँ पे जो glass का कोई door ये नहीं है, house नहीं है, but the gases, that is the pollutants like the CO2 and the methane and chlorofluorocarbons and water vapor, they are going to cause the greenhouse, because they are called as greenhouse gases as they do not allow the passage of the light through them. So let's see what they are given over here. First of all, the terms greenhouse gas are those gases that contribute effectively in retaining heat in the atmosphere. So that's right, the greenhouse gases are the one which are contributing to retain the heat in the atmosphere. Major greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, oxides of nitrogen, chlorofluorocarbons. Okay, so carbon dioxide, I told you, methane is another gas. Next is the water vapor, of course, abundantly available. Oxides of nitrogen, and chlorofluorocarbon. Now chlorofluorocarbon is the one which is given out by CFC, it is called as CFC. You will normally find that in refrigerators जो नहीं रहते उसके ऊपर लिखा रहता है CFC free. So what is that CFC free? It is basically they are the one which will not produce CFC and cause global warming. So even the air conditioners what we are using nowadays, they are CFC free. Otherwise normally they were the one which were giving out CFC on a large scale. Greenhouse effect is the warming up of the Earth's surface due to the concentration or blanketing effect of the greenhouse gases. So this blanketing effect of the greenhouses on the surface of the Earth causes the greenhouse effect. So global warming, the greenhouse effect results in the rise in the atmospheric temperature which is not confined to one region but has a global impact and is termed as global warming. So yeah, that's what we see, that when you see, it is not that okay carbon dioxide यहाँ पे इसीलिए यहाँ पे heat हुआ बाकी जगह पे heat नहीं होगा. It's not that way. The heat which is going to be generated on the Earth's surface is a global thing. It is not only on parts. It is not that okay अगर ये part पे इधर इतना temperature increase होगा, नहीं. It is not that way. It is going to be a global impact. So warming of the Earth's surface is due to the concentration of the thing, and hence it is which is not confined to one region but it is global impact and termed as global. Hence it is termed as global warming. Causes of greenhouse effect and global warming. In the absence of greenhouse gases, the surface temperature of the Earth is maintained since the solar radiation emitted as heat radiations pass through the clear atmosphere. It reaches the Earth's surface where it is absorbed and retained. Some of the absorbed or heat radiation is reflected back into the atmosphere. Radiation from the Earth takes place in two ways: reflected solar radiation and emitted thermal infrared radiation. Thus a balance is maintained between the heat energy and the absorbed by the Earth and radiated from the Earth. So you can see that in absence of the greenhouse gases, what would happen is that the heat is entering, the light is entering into the atmosphere as solar radiations. The solar radiations are going to be hitting the Earth's surface. Earth's surface में थोड़ा बहुत उसने absorb किया, थोड़ा बहुत उसने reflect किया. So जितना उसने absorb किया, वो उतना उसका heat generate होगा. And then other part is going to be reflected back, and what is reflected back will be thermal infrared, it could be either solar radiations or it would be thermal infrared radiations. So in this way, the heat energy is going to be balanced, will be maintain a balance between the absorbed heat and the radiate heat. So जो भी absorb किया और radiate किया उसके बीच में एक balance maintain होगा, जिसके कारण the average surface temperature of the Earth is going to remain constant. So that is in absence of global greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. But in the presence of greenhouse gases, what happens in the presence of greenhouse gases? The surface temperature of the Earth and its atmosphere is increased since the solar rays, which are long waves or UV rays, pass through the layers of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The heat radiation which are reflected back from the Earth into the atmosphere is retained due to the blanketing effect of the greenhouse gases. This results in the rise in the global temperature and global warming. The above effect is similar to greenhouse for plants, which is covered with glass panels. So yeah, that is why now in presence of this thing, what happens is, as I told you earlier also, that the light rays which are entering over here, they are going to freely be able to penetrate through the greenhouses, but the radiated ones, the one which is going to be reflected back, these are not being allowed to radiate out into the atmosphere, and they are reflected back on the Earth's surface, and thus causing the greenhouse effect or the global warming. So about global warming, contributes to the greenhouse gases contribution to the global warming is first carbon dioxide, that is contribution to global warming is 55%, and annual increase is 0.5%. Of course, it's quite obvious because we are keeping on increasing the number of vehicles, and the number of vehicle increases means more fuel burn. More fuel burn means more carbon dioxide generated. Another problem is that cutting down of trees. When you cut down the trees, they are not going to convert the carbon dioxide into oxygen. Hence the whatever respiration के हम लोग जो carbon dioxide generate करते हैं, वो हम लोग convert नहीं कर पाते into oxygen because of the lack of plants. So plants which are doing photosynthesis and they use the carbon dioxide and give out oxygen, that process is stopped by afforestation. Sorry, deforestation. Okay, so carbon dioxide is 55% and annual rate of increase is 0.5%. Methane is 15%, annual rate increase is 0.9%. Oxides of nitrogen is 6%, annual increase is 0.3%. Water vapor is variable. Chlorofluorocarbons is 10 to 24% and annual increase is 4%. And ozone is not included in the greenhouse gases. So you can see that chlorofluorocarbon again plays a very important role because the global contribution is 20 to 24%, but the increase is 4%, and this is because all the aerosol sprays, the DOs and all what we use, they do contain certain amount of chlorofluorocarbons and we keep on spraying it everywhere. Hence chlorofluorocarbon becomes a very important kind of a thing which causes global warming. So contribution of greenhouse gases and the annual rate of increase may vary from different data. So that's okay because country to country also it differs. Now greenhouse gases sources. First one, sources of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide we know, first of all, natural sources we know it is going to be given out by respiration and by natural disasters or degradation of plants and animals. So we see occurs naturally in atmosphere. Of course, carbon dioxide is a part and parcel of the air. That's why carbon dioxide is going to be naturally occurring in the atmosphere. Apart from there, it is also going to be released during respiration. So, oxidation of substances like glucose in body cells releases carbon dioxide. So, that is the equation for the respiration. That's 6H12O6 plus O2. 6O2 will give you 6CO2 plus 6H2O. So that is the reaction in which CO2 is going to be given out during respiration. Natural degradation of plants and animals, carbon in tissue is oxidized to carbon dioxide. So whenever any dead and decayed material is going to be decayed or any dead material is going to be decayed, so that degradation is going to be causing degradation, and that degradation causes carbon dioxide because carbon present in the tissues are going to be oxidized to form carbon dioxide. Of course, there are many processes which causes man-made processes which causes carbon dioxide to be generated. First and foremost is burning of coal, C plus O2 CO2, and natural gases CH4 plus O2 giving you CO2 plus H2O. So we know that all kinds of fossil fuels and all kinds of gases which are fuels, they are going to cause formation of carbon dioxide. So whether you burn methane or you burn coal or carbon or we burn anything, petrol, diesel, anything when you burn, you are going to cause formation of carbon dioxide because all fuels are made up of hydrocarbons, and hydrocarbons has got carbon and hydrogen. So it is a carbon which is going to react with the oxygen in the air and it's going to give you carbon dioxide. Second is industrial activities like power plants. Power plants are using coal. So first the power plants and the industrial activities are going to produce carbon dioxide. Chemical industries, manufacturing of limestone, quicklime, that is CaCO3. We know that when carbonates are heated, we studied this thing in the equation, the reactions, the types of reaction made, that whenever a carbonate is heated, it gives you carbon dioxide. So that is why CaCO3 will give CO plus CO2. That's why we get carbon dioxide from calcium carbonate. Similarly, fermentation of sugar, by yeast, that is C6H12O6, that is anaerobic respiration, that is going to give you C2H5OH plus CO2. So that is again when plants are going to do the anaerobic respiration, that is like yeast, they are going to convert the glucose into ethanol plus carbon dioxide is going to be given out. And finally is the exhaust of the automobile. Yeah, that's the major part. Major part is whenever the exhaust of the, you see any exhaust of the automobile, yeah, they will contain a huge amount of carbon dioxide in it. So we see the sources of the greenhouse gases are agricultural waste and solid waste 10%, transportation is 52%, industrial process is 4%, industrial energy plant 6%, general use is 8%, residential use is 5%, electricity is 15%. So we see the next greenhouse gas is methane. Methane, it is bacterial decay of vegetables. Matter releases marsh gas, which is mainly methane. Or natural gas associated with petroleum contains about 75% methane, and coal pockets contain methane, that is fire damp. So that is the natural sources. So bacterial decay, whenever there is any bacterial decay of any particular organism, so vegetable matter or anything, they are going to release marsh gas. The marsh gas is nothing but mainly methane. Similarly, natural gas, there will be gases which are associated with petroleum and all. So petroleum का जहाँ पे भी oil fields होते हैं तो उसके ऊपर there will be a blanket of gases. That gases will be maximum area will be methane. Even the coal का जितने भी mines होते हैं तो coal mines के अंदर भी there will be pockets of the gases which is called as the methane or fire damp. Man-made sources, of course, agriculture activities like natural wetlands and rice paddies release methane. So that is the natural activity by the, man-made activity by agriculture, that is methane released due by rice paddies. And chemical processes like gas drilling or coal mining, biomass burning and produces methane. So biomass and all, they also produce methane. So that is used as a fuel. So that's why methane is going to be produced even by gas drilling or coal mining or biomass. The next greenhouse gas is oxides of nitrogen, N2O. Naturally, it is found by the anaerobic respiration, that is activities of microorganisms in soil release nitrogen, nitric oxide or nitrous oxide. That is, I told you about the fixation of the nitrogen. So nitrogen fixation is going to take place, that is anaerobic respiration. And in case of man-made sources, natural activities such as nitrogenous fertilizers when they are added to the soil, and soil cultivation release the oxides of nitrogen. And automobile exhaust also has got nitrogen in it, nitrogen oxide over there, and burning of biomass. The next is water vapor, that is transpiration or evaporation of plants. So yeah, that is just a normal thing. Water vapor is going to be available by evaporation of plants and transpiration. And in case of chlorofluorocarbons, there is no natural source, but a man-made source, of course, is coolants and air conditioners. Cleaning solvents escapes as aerosols in the atmosphere. So aerosol sprays, the DOs and everything are aerosol sprays, they contain certain amount of CFC, that is chlorofluorocarbon in them. What is the impact of greenhouse gases? Global warming. So first is geographical. Global warming increases melting of ice caps, which results in rise in the sea level, causing coastal floods and erosions. So yeah, you can see that if the temperature of the earth's surface increases, definitely there will be more amount of melting of the ice which is there in the Antarctica or in the snow-capped mountains and everywhere. So automatically this will rise the water level in the rivers and the seas and the ocean. So in the rise in the sea level, automatically there is floods, and there could be also erosion of the soil because the water keeps on moving, so the soil erosion keeps on happening. Change to the climate will be tropical region experience more rainfall, and northern latitudes experience shorter and wetter winters. So yeah, the tropical region experience more rainfall because of the heat over there. So tropical areas will have more rainfall over there, whereas the northern latitudes they will be having a shorter and a wetter winters over there. Ecosystem wise causes large scale destruction of ecosystem and extinction of species. So yeah, definitely because of the increase in the temperature and due to the change in the ecosystem is going to definitely take place because of the change in the climatic conditions. Because कभी more rainfall हो या more temperature हो या ज़्यादा, because everything is becoming extreme. So when it comes to an extreme conditions, certain kind of species cannot survive in those conditions, and that's why there will be extinction of species due to this condition. Agriculture and plant life affects due to climatic changes, and a cycle of trees and survival of reproduction of plants is going to change, and the soil fertility and amount of soil water retention is in the soil. So soil water retained in the soil. So automatically it is going to create a change in the climatic conditions. If they change, they automatically change the condition for the plants. So plant life definitely is going to be difficult because the life cycle of the trees and the plants is going to change, and there would be, and the survival and the reproduction will not be so easy, and also the soil fertility is going to be affected, and this amounts to and the amount of soil water retaining it will also be changing. Hence it will not be possible for the plants to survive properly. So what are the ways of reducing greenhouse gases? Numerous eco-friendly methods are there. So the numerous eco-friendly methods delay or reduce global warming. So these eco-friendly methods, what are there, they cannot exactly, we cannot just eliminate the global warming, but at least we can reduce or we can delay the global warming. So the delay means what? Means आज अगर समझो we say that last 10 years में the rise in the temperature of the earth's surface was 0.5 degrees Celsius. Yeah, if the next 7 years we are able to decrease it to 0.2 degrees Celsius, then we have delayed the global warming, or we have reduced the global warming. Most methods, however, have drawbacks, and hence newer innovations are still in progress. Ways of reducing greenhouse gases. First is, since main source of greenhouse gases is combustion of fossil fuels, options are used for reducing greenhouse gases. Okay, so first thing is, we need to use different fuels, because the main source of the greenhouse gas, that is carbon dioxide, is the burning of fossil fuels. If we are somehow able to reduce the burning of the fossil fuels, then automatically we are able to reduce the greenhouse gases, and accordingly we will be able to reduce the global warming. So we see that there are different options. So first is, use different fuels which release less greenhouse gases, like LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Contains mostly propane, so because it is propane, so definitely what will happen is it is going to give you carbon dioxide, but it will not give you the harmful substances like nitrogen oxides and the sulfur dioxides and all. So that will be helpful. So we are going to have a purer fuel, so there is a cleaner fuel. Liquefied petroleum gas, that was LPG. Then liquefied natural gas, LNG, that is containing mostly methane. Compressed natural gas, CNG, similar to LPG but is not liquefied. CNG is an alternative to petrol and diesel since it causes minimum pollution. It also does not contain lead and lowers maintenance cost as compared to vehicles with other forms of fuel. So yeah, CNG is one of the things which is quite we see very regularly in each and every cars now. Many cars over here, especially the one which are running at taxis. So you'll see the taxis and autos, and even the buses, they move on, they do not take petrol or diesel, they use CNG. So the CNG is a cylinder which is there, and then in that cylinder they use this compressed natural gas. So advantage is they are much cleaner fuel. So because they do not produce that much amount of because they do not have lead inside, and lowers, and also the maintenance cost is going to be lower because it's a combustion of gas rather than combustion of liquid. Use other form of energy. So of course, if we are able to cut short this thing, so of course the disadvantage of CNG is LNG, CNG and LPG are themselves derived from fossil fuels. So of course they will be producing certain amount of carbon dioxide, but at least it is better than petrol and diesel. The best thing is to use other form of energy, not to use fossil fuel at all. So how do we use that thing? First thing is solar energy from the sun. So sun stored energy. If you are able to use this, it is very easy. It is the most non-polluting kind, but difficulty is that to collect and convert into usable form is not so easy. It is difficult, it is not convenient, and that's the reason we are limited to use of solar energy only for small devices like calculators, and even mobile phones don't work on solar. So you can understand how much difficult it is to use solar energy. Wind energy from windmills, fast blowing wind can be used to initiate or make mechanical or electrical energy. Only disadvantage will that it requires a steady flow of the wind. If the steady flow of wind is not there, there is no way I can use wind energy. So Wind energy needs a specific velocity, that is 15 kilometers per hour is the speed required for the wind to be. If the wind is blowing at continuously at 15 kilometers per hour, yes, then it's possible to have a windmill or the wind farm nowadays to be formed over there. Hydropower from high dams, but of course dams are very expensive to build and it is not possible to build it everywhere. It needs a constant flow of water, or only then you can have a dam over there. Hydrogen energy on burning and oxygen, that is energy collection and storage is difficult. Again, hydrogen energy, yes, hydrogen is a very good fuel, but again the problem is that it is very difficult to store and to use. Biofuels like oil extracts from plants mixed with diesel. Use plantation of specific trees are required for extraction of the oil. And finally is biomass, biogas from biomass or sewage. Biogas is energy generated by organic compounds through biological breakdown and biological and chemical processes. But of course, the continuous supply of biomass is needed, which may not be possible in at least the urban area. Rural areas, yeah, it is possible, but not in the urban area. Other ways of reducing greenhouse gases is induce more growth of plantations of plant and forest, promotes afforestation. This helps to absorb greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, because we know that carbon dioxide plus water is going to give you glucose plus water plus oxygen. So that is, carbon dioxide is going to be a raw material for the plant and hence it is going to reduce the pollution directly. Reduce burning of forest or biomass, that is check deforestation and use biofertilizers instead of nitrogenous fertilizers. This helps control emission of greenhouse gases, nitrous oxide. And formulate new eco-friendly policies through government organization. This will help to identify pollutants causing areas and provide solutions. So basically it is necessary that there should be policies made by the government that the companies who are polluting, they need to use certain kind of devices that they can easily filter out before they are polluting the atmosphere. So such kind of eco-friendly policies should be done from the government organizations so that pollution is decreased. So this was about the global warming. So we end the global warming over here. Now in the next video we start with the ozone depletion.